guys, how's it going? It is me, Megan, and I am back with another video. If you guys are new to my channel, I'm a full-time reseller on Poshmark and a few other platforms, but mostly Poshmark. And here on YouTube, I like to make reseller content. I'll do sold videos, I'll do unboxings, I'll do all that good stuff. So if that is something you guys are interested in, please make sure to like and subscribe, and that way you'll never miss one of my videos. So I am going to try and talk, hopefully on the louder end of things. You can probably tell I don't have my mic on. I have to charge my phone because it's dying, so I can't plug my mic in. My bad. It's also raining and dark, and my cat's crying outside my door. So I'll try and make this video quick, even though it is going to be a little bit longer of a What Sold Sunday. And then two other things you guys could probably tell. I got a haircut. And second, more importantly, I am starting my 7 days of Thriftmas starting today. So every day, starting today for 7 days, leading up to Christmas, I'm going to be doing an unboxing, and they're all going to be different. The one I'm posting today, I believe, is a scarf unboxing. I'll also have a fun box, men's designer box, women's designer box, denim box, t-shirt box, and a fun box. Fingers crossed, because some of them haven't even come in the mail yet, but I have had already 3 or 4 boxes that I unboxed. So I will be starting those videos today. So if you guys are interested, please keep an eye out. And again, it'll be one for every day for the next 7 days. Not on Christmas, but leading up to. I'm going to be going over all the sales I've had so far in December. So for the last 2 weeks, pretty much. And yeah, things have definitely picked up. I think December has been a lot better than November was, but this week, I am going to be really focusing on kind of, you know, getting my office together and kind of getting my house together, because me and my husband are going to be going to Connecticut for Christmas and then kind of for the majority of that week. So I just kind of want to come back to clean things, especially as we're going to start the new year soon. And yeah, so I'm just going to get into it because I don't want this video to be forever long. Not saying that I have a million sales to share, but yeah. So actually on December 1st, which was a Friday, I didn't have any sales, womp womp. But continuing on to December 2nd, which was a Saturday, I had 5 sales. I sold this Uniqlo tank top. It was a collab that they did with Alexander Wang, which I didn't really know at first. But luckily it said Alexander Wang on the outside. I got this in one of those bulk boxes, one of those bulk boxes I shared with you guys in like May or June. So it did take a while to sell. It actually was a men's item, but it sold for $9, and after fees I made $6.05. Some of their collabs can do well, but that was just a very simple piece. Next, I sold these new without tag UGG Keely boots. These I've had for years. I feel like if you guys have been watching a lot of my recent videos, I have been selling some boots that I got like 2 years ago in a mystery box that I believe was from the new without tag outlet place, or maybe Helpsy Source, I'm not sure. I think I finally have 1 pair of boots left from that, but it's definitely taken a while to sell through them. They weren't all the best brands. Some did sell really fast, which was great. I've definitely profited, but I'm just like trying to get rid of the last ones I have. These took forever, even though again, they were new without box or new without tags. They were a smaller size. They aren't like the trendy Uggs that everybody wants right now. They ended up selling for $35, and after fees I made $28. And I believe every pair of boots in that box cost like between $12 and $13. And it took a couple years to sell, so not great. Then I sold this vintage Wilson's leather jacket, which you might remember were also from those THREDUP bulk boxes I shared, again, from like May or June. I didn't really know how this was gonna do. It's not like the most trendy of leather jackets, but it is Wilson's, and it was very, you know, like hefty. I ended up selling for $59 on Poshmark, and after fees I made $47.20. Then I sold this pair of Old Navy skinny Rockstar jeans. I think I've had these for a while. I don't really pick up Old Navy jeans, and these were a smaller size. I probably got them at the bins or in some bulk box. They finally sold for $15, and after fees I made $12, and that was on Poshmark. And last sale I had that day was on eBay. It was this Loft tweed blazer. I think I got this at the bins because I liked the style. but Loft, you know, isn't like a very high performing brand. But I have definitely been picking it up more this year than I have in the past, especially if I really like the item. It's at the bins, it's in good quality and a better size. This blazer took a while to sell, but it sold for $20 on eBay, and after fees I made $15.73. Then Sunday the 3rd, I had 4 sales. I sold these Kappa women's black joggers. I've heard good things about this brand, especially their logoed pieces. I probably would only pick it up at the bins where it's the cheapest for me. But they sold decently well. They ended up selling for $20, and after fees I made $16. Then I sold this Talbots floral black dress. Again, something I picked up at the bins. I liked this dress. It was missing a belt, which I didn't know at the time, but it was also a size 12, which I just feel like is a size that I never find. So to me, that means it's definitely like a very sought after size, and good to resell. It actually ended up selling pretty quickly. I didn't list it for too much, but it ended up selling for $19 on Poshmark, and after fees I made $15.20. Then I sold this other piece that I got at the bins kind of recently. It was a True Religion denim check print button up. I do like to find True Religion at the bins. I don't pick up everything, but if it's a nice piece like their jeans or, you know, like this, it has a logo on it, I'm definitely willing to pick it up and try it. And this was really great, you know, for the fall. Ended up selling for $22.50, and after fees I made $18.95. And then the last thing I sold that day was this Eileen Fisher green sweater, and this was on eBay. I think I got this at the bins in Portland back when I, you know, heard Eileen Fisher was really good to pick up, like at the beginning of reselling for the first time. So I was picking it up. It just wasn't selling for me. I think I was listing it really high. I ended up sending a lot of my pieces that I had into THREDUP when I moved here, and other pieces just kind of got stuck, you know, in like a death pile. So when I was going through that, cleaning out my office, I just decided to list this piece, and it actually ended up selling pretty quickly after I listed it. I think it was a size medium. It ended up selling for $22 on eBay, and after fees I made $17.36. All right, and then Monday the 4th, I had 3 sales. I sold these Spary black duck boots. I have a pair of these myself, actually, that I got when I was in Portland. I just really like the style of duck boots. I got these at the bins really recently, and shoes at my bins cost $3.05 per pair. So not too bad. They sold pretty quickly for $29, and after fees I made $23.20. Then I sold these Burberry Brit skinny jeans, which I actually found in Connecticut when I was there last time. I think this was the first time I had found this brand, and it was in really good condition. I've only found this brand, I think, twice, like the Burberry Brit line. And the second time was actually just this last week at the bins, which was interesting. I'll be excited to see what that goes for, because I believe it's a men's button-up piece. But yeah, I thought these would do a little bit better. They were a skinny jean and a little bit older, so not a super fast sale, but they did end up selling for $52, and after fees I made $41.60. And because I got those at a thrift store in Connecticut, they were probably like $8 or less, I want to say. And then the last thing I sold that Monday was this pair of Coach logo heels. I got these at the bins. I just know people really like things that have the Coach logo on them. They sold for $25, and after fees I made $20. Then Tuesday the 5th, I only had 1 sale. It was this New Tag pair of men's Docker shorts that I picked up at the bins. I don't really pick up everything New Tag, but definitely in the month of December, I keep an eye out for it. And these were at the bins, New Tags, picked them up. They ended up selling for $10 on Poshmark, and after fees, I made $7.05. Then my sales really picked up, which was good. On the 6th, I had 6 sales. I sold this Figs full zip men's vest. I have had this for a while, but I think I got it in the summer, so it makes sense that it is, you know, selling in the winter and fall. Figs is a really great scrubs, like hospital scrubs brand. I've sold it several times. Sometimes their pieces actually aren't that expensive, so when I find it to resell and I don't look it up, comps actually aren't that great, because sometimes they originally only go for like something in the 30s, but there are pieces or like limited time colors that can get you a lot. but sometimes it can be hit or miss. Luckily, they have the style code on pretty much all, if not all, their pieces, at least all the ones I've found, so you can look up the code and, you know, find the name of the brand and also figure out if it's men's or women's. This was a men's vest, all that to be said. And it ended up selling for $45, and after fees, I made $36. I got this at a local Goodwill, and I believe they charged this as like a tank top. So I think I only paid like $5 or $6 for it, which is cheap for the Goodwills around me. Next, I sold this J. Jill textured overcoat. Picked this up at the bins. It was really lightweight. I've kind of slowed down on J. Jill. All their stuff has been doing super well, even like their bigger sizes. But this was a nice like overcoat piece that I figured I would pick up and try, and I believe it was a size extra large. Sold really quickly for $20, and after fees I made $13.02. Then I sold this Alf Mint men's green short sleeve shirt. I found this brand, I think maybe once before at the bins, and I found this piece at the bins as well. The first time it had like a big hole in it that I didn't notice. So this time I was excited to try it out. Comps seem good for some of their pieces. I think it's, you know, a little bit more sought after. So I was excited to try it out. It ended up selling for $16, and after fees I made $9.82. Then I sold this Theory wool plaid skirt. I love this skirt. I just love the way it looked. I think I got this at a Savers, so I probably spent anywhere between like $8 and $10, $11 for it. Theory in better materials and cuter, more modern pieces does well for me. This did take a little while to sell, but it's finally sold for $50, and after fees I made $40. Then I sold this H&M Nebraska Crewneck. I got this at the bins purely based on style. Probably shouldn't have picked it up. It did take a while to sell, and H&M just, out of all the fast fashion brands, does the worst for me. But it finally sold for $11, and after fees I made $8.05. And the last thing I sold that day, and you might remember it from my bins haul that I did a couple of weeks ago, was this new tag Johnny Was silk scarf. I was so excited to find this. I didn't know when I picked it up at the bins that it was Johnny Was, because the tag was from Neiman Marcus, and I didn't really look it over too closely. But when I got home and I was doing the haul for you guys, I did see that it was Johnny Was, and I was so excited. I listed it and it sold within a couple of hours. It sold for $81, and after fees I made $62.78, which was fantastic, especially because I think I got like over 50 pieces that day, and for everything I spent about like $70, $75, so that was almost all of it made back on just that one piece. Then Thursday the 7th, I had 7 sales. I sold this Tory Burch pair of animal print flats. These I actually did also get at the bins. Again, $3.05 per pair of shoes at my bins. They weren't in like fabulous condition. They definitely were a little bit stretched out and, you know, just had some wear throughout. So I didn't list them for too much, and comps actually weren't very high for this style, which I was surprised about, but they did end up selling for $30, and after fees I made $24. Next, I sold this Anthropologie Daily Practice, which is the Anthropologie brand, short sleeve shirt. This was from their A+ collection, which is Anthropologie's plus size collection, which was great. I found this at the bins, super lightweight, pretty much everything Anthropologie, for the most part, I am picking up. I am a little bit pickier, especially with brands that don't do as well or pieces that are kind of like out of date. But this seemed to actually be kind of the style. This shirt seemed to be a little bit flooded on the market, but there weren't really any listed in the color I had, so I think that was good. I didn't list it for too much. It was pretty basic, but it ended up selling, again, really quickly, probably within 24 hours on Mercari for $25, and after fees, I made $21.13. And I don't know what it is with Mercari, but in November, I only had like 3 sales on Mercari, when I don't normally have a lot of sales on Mercari, but definitely closer to like 15 to 20 a month. So 3 was kind of crazy, but I am glad that that sold. Next, I sold this pair of Brief Insanity, which is the brand, men's beer print pajama pants. I feel like I've mentioned this a few times, but beer things are just kind of really trendy right now, especially Budweiser. If you look at a lot of kind of fast fashion or younger brands, PacSun, Abercrombie and Fitch, Forever 21, etc., they're all selling like Budweiser branded things this holiday season. So something to keep an eye out for. These pants sold for $15 and after fees I made $12.38, and that was on Depop, and I did get those at the bins. Then I sold this, I don't know how to pronounce it, Gudrun Soijin linen cardigan. This is a really good brand to know. The label itself is very difficult to read. I will try to include a photo of it. Maybe you could just memorize what it looks like. But I've found it a couple of times now. This was a linen cardigan. It was in a really good size. I want to say like an extra large. And it got a lot of attention, which is great. It's sold for $56 and after fees I made $42.78. Got this at a local Goodwill, so it probably cost about $10. Next, I sold this vintage Maui Hawaii short sleeve shirt. I got this at the bins. It was single stitch. The t-shirt boys didn't pick it up, so I thought, why not try it out? I really liked the print and it was in really good condition. Ended up selling for $38 on Poshmark, and after fees I made $30.40. I sold this pair of athletic crop flare pants. These I also got at the bin super recently, so the Tuesday of this week I got the Johnny Was scarf, that A+ Anthropology shirt I just showed you, and this pair of pants and other things, but of the stuff that sold, those sold again within like 2 days of me picking them up. These were in really great condition. They were a newer style. They were a petite, which specifically with Athleta I have a hard time selling, but I think this style of pant was pretty sought after. Maybe I could have listed them a little bit higher, but I am happy that I got a quick sale from them. They sold for $28 and after fees I made $20.38. So with those 3 sales, you know, I've definitely made my money back from Tuesday and profited from that bin strip, which is fantastic. And then the last thing I sold on Thursday was a new to me brand that I do think is a bolo for you guys to look out for. It's a men's brand that I hadn't heard of. Maybe you guys are familiar with. It's a golf brand. It's called Holderness and Born. I'll try again to put the tag on the screen, but I found one of their pullovers, which is what I sold, at the bins. And the brand just sounded kind of fancy. Like the piece didn't specifically feel high quality. The label didn't look like specifically like amazing. Just the name of the brand kind of sounded like something I should look up. People had their items listed very high to resell. I don't know if I specifically looked at solds, but this piece, like this pullover, is a very popular style from them. And originally it's like $124, and this brand really holds its value. When I did look at solds, this kind of style definitely sells pretty high, probably around like $80+, like used. But mine, I didn't realize until I listed it, actually had a logo of a company sewn in. I just thought it was the brand's logo because it didn't have any words. It was just like a leaf and a moon. So I think that did hinder people from buying it. It also did have some like general like pilling wear throughout, but it got tons of attention on eBay. And when someone offered me $40, I did decide to just accept. I got this at the bins, and with that logo and the wear, I just didn't really know what comps would look like. I do think I could have held out and got like maybe around 50 or 60 for it. But again, I was happy with 40. I forgot to write down how much I made after fees, but I imagine somewhere in like the 34, 36 range. And then Friday the 8th, I had 2 sales. I sold this pair of Theory men's trousers. I got these at a local thrift store that does like over time, certain colors turn to like 70% off. I found these in the men's section, so I think I only picked them up for like $2 or $3. They ended up selling for $36 on Poshmark, and after fees I made $28.80. And the last thing I sold that Friday was this in bamboo foulard, which I think is a type of stitching or something, bamboo scarf. This is a little bit of a spoiler, but I got this in a scarf box that actually I'll be sharing with you guys today. But yeah, hope you guys are excited for that. But this was in that box. It ended up selling for $17, and after fees I made $13.60. And then on Saturday the 9th, I had 4 sales. I sold this new tag Steve Madden Infinity scarf. Again, I believe I got this the same day I got that Johnny Was scarf, so it actually sold within a few days. I only picked it up at the bins because I liked the way it looked and it was new tags. If it wasn't new tags, I probably would have passed on it, but I thought it would make a good gift or a stocking stuffer. Sold for $17, and after fees I made $11.58. Then I sold this new tag Fozzie Bear onesie. This again came from that same bins trip, so it sold really fast. This I actually sold probably within a few hours of me listing it. I just kind of picked it up on a whim, specifically because it was new tags. If it wasn't new tags, I probably wouldn't have. But I know Sesame Street, or the Muppets, I guess, is what this is kind of trendy right now, especially Kermit. But when I got home and I looked this up, it seems like it originally goes for like $40+, so I was happy with that. Ended up selling on an offer of $25, and after fees I made $20, and that was on Poshmark. Then I had another Mercari sale. This pair of Ralph Lauren Blue Label khaki jean shorts. I don't really know how like much value the Ralph Lauren Blue Label has, but I know at least on Poshmark, you can, like, when you select the brands, you can specifically select Ralph Lauren Blue Label. So I don't know, but I listed it that way. I actually got these at the bins in Connecticut when I went, again, when I was just there in September when I went with my mom. I only got a few things, but this was one of them. It ended up selling for $34 on Mercari, and after fees I made $28.97, which is fantastic because they are shorts selling in winter, pretty much, right? We're in winter now. All right, and then the last thing I sold on Saturday was this pair of Lululemon's men's Sojourn. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. Joggers. I want to say I also got these the same day as that Johnny Was silk scarf, either that or the week before. They did sell very quickly. I was actually surprised. This was in literally somebody's throwback pile. They had the drawstring. They were men's small, and they were in like new condition. There was really nothing wrong with them, which is very rare for me to find at the bins. And they were a very new and kind of rare style. They sold very quickly for $65 on Poshmark, and after fees I made $52. And then Sunday the 10th, I had 6 sales. I sold this Natalie Marlin silk dress, very summery, very pretty. It was like orange. Again, a very great Bolo brand to keep an eye out for. I actually found this at a local thrift store, and I had never heard of the brand, but I saw it was silk, and then I looked it up, and comps were really great. I believe I picked this up in summer, but it didn't sell right away, so this is probably someone going on vacation. But it actually sold on an offer of $120 on eBay, and after fees I made $99.31, and again I probably spent about $10 on that piece. Then I sold this Skims boyfriend long sleeve, again either from that week's bins trip or the one before. Skims is a very popular brand. There are specific pieces that I think are more sought after from them, like limited time colors, or their like very long bodycon maxi dresses. But if I see it at the bins, which is where I found this, I will pick it up every time. Luckily, this had the size on the inner tag. It was an extra large, and it was very easy to look up this style. It ended up selling for $27 on Poshmark, and after fees, I made $21.60. Next, I sold this Reese leather mini skirt. Again, got this at a local thrift store. It was 100% leather, and Reese can be a good brand. I haven't had the best of luck with it, but when I see it, I do tend to pick it up because I know, well, I think it's considered designer, but if not designer, definitely premium. It wasn't listed that high. I think I picked it up for like $5 or $6 maybe. And I personally love to sell skirts. I do have quite a few that aren't selling right now, so I'm not saying to run out and buy them, but I love selling skirts, so I'm always checking the skirts section. It ended up selling for $55 on Poshmark, and after fees I made $44. Then I sold this Norma Kamali blazer. The first time I found the brand Norma Kamali, it was a pair of like pull-on boot cut, pretty much what felt like leggings, that sold so well and so fast for like $80, $70, $80. So when I see this brand and other pieces, I always tend to pick it up but nothing has done as well as those first pants have. I have, I think, a blouse that doesn't really get any attention because I think it might be a little bit older, and I do think this blazer was older as well, but I still picked it up from a local thrift store. Again, probably paid about $10. Ended up selling for $35 on Depop, and after fees I made $29.69. Then I sold these Kerrits, which is the brand Girls Breeches. Kerrits spelt with a K, Kerrits, I believe. I've been lucky and I found this brand, I wouldn't say frequently at the bins, but I've definitely found it like 3 or 4 times this year, which is great. I think, you know, people aren't really looking for it or don't know the brand. But this pair of pants happen to be girls' pants. They're women's. I don't know if I've sold their men's or if they make men's, but their women's stuff tends to do like a lot better in terms of selling speed. They usually sell for a little bit more and a lot quicker. These took a little bit to sell, maybe a month, but they ended up selling for $25 on Poshmark, and after fees I made $20. And the last thing I sold that day was this Joseph Ribkoff faux leather blazer. This didn't have a size, but the whole lining had like the brand on it. I couldn't really tell if it was purposefully distressed or if it was like peeling, but it wasn't like actually peeling, and I imagine it was supposed to look this way. I've heard good things about this brand, but I had never sold it before, and without a size, I didn't really know where to list it. I think it ended up selling on an offer of $40 on eBay, and after fees I made $31.89, and that came from my recent bulk boxes, again, from like May or June. All right, now moving on to just this last week of sales and the last few days I'm going to be sharing with you guys. Monday the 11th, I had 2 sales. I sold these Patricia Nash leather boots. I've had these for a while. I think I probably had them marked too high, but they were constantly getting like tons of attention, and they were really cute, so I didn't really know where to list them at. They finally ended up selling for $70 on Poshmark, and after fees I made $56. I got these at a local Savers, I think late last year or earlier this year. So again, probably spent like $10, $12 on those. And then the other thing I sold that Monday was this new tag Intimately Free People tunic that, again, I either had for like a week or 2 from the bins. I was very excited to find this piece. I find a lot of Free People, but definitely not a lot of like new tag. And this was like a very oversized, but a medium large, which is fantastic because I feel like that's what people are looking for Free People pieces. And it was just in time for the holidays. Ended up selling for $41 on Poshmark, and after fees I made $30.78. Then Tuesday the 12th, I had 9 sales. That was a great day. I sold this Banana Republic cable knit sweater. This I picked up very recently at the bins based on style. Definitely was an older piece, but it had that cable knit and it was a good color. So I thought, why not pick it up? Sold very quickly for $23, and after fees I made $16.38. And now this next sale is a bit of a spoiler for the THREDUP boxes, but it is from my men's luxury designer THREDUP box that I unboxed. It came with 4 pieces. It was like $140 plus tax plus shipping. I was super skeptical, but a lot of you guys say that it's like your favorite box, and it's one of the ones that I feel like does sell out really fast, which to me means it is a good box. But getting into the sale, I received these Christian Louboutin men's sneakers that were in like new condition. Didn't come in like the box or the dust bag or anything, so I made sure to note that in the listing. But I specifically listed these on Poshmark for 2 reasons. One, well, mostly just one reason, but kind of 2 reasons. I had looked these over quite well and compared them to other pieces online, and to me they did seem authentic. But when you sell something for $500 or more on Poshmark, the buyer gets free shipping. It doesn't come from you. It comes from Poshmark. They get free shipping and they do free authentication. So currently right now, these shoes are in the hands of Poshmark. They are authenticating them, and they will be passed along to them once they're through with that process. But yeah, these ended up selling for $500, and after fees I made $400. I couldn't find anything exactly like these, and I don't know, listing prices and comps for that, like their shoes, like men's Louboutins, were just kind of all over the place, so I didn't really know what to do. I listed them at just over 600 and was sending offers, but when someone sent me an offer of 500 within like a few days of me listing it, I did decide to accept, just because I didn't know if I was pricing it far too high or too low. I don't know, but I was happy with that, especially because it covered the cost of what I paid for that box and probably doubled it with just that one piece. So I was more than happy. So sorry for the spoiler, but you have something to look forward to when you are watching my unboxing videos this week. All right, and then next was this Orvis men's pullover. Not really a brand I pick up, but I saw this at the bins. I thought it was really great for the season, and it was in really great condition, so I did pick it up. It sold, I think, within a couple of weeks for $25 on Poshmark, and after fees I made $20. Then I sold these Kappa red rope heels. I've actually had these for quite a while. I picked them up maybe 2 or 3 years ago around the holiday season, thinking they'd be a good color for, you know, Christmas. I definitely got these back when I was living in Portland. I recently relisted them and they ended up selling the same day, which just goes to show how important relisting can be. They ended up selling for $36, and after fees I made $28.80. Then I sold this Ralph Lauren plaid pajama dress. Again, recently picked up at the bins. Only really got it because it was giving like major Christmas winter vibes. I don't really know how popular their pajama dresses are. I think I might have picked up one before that I still have. But again, this was really great for the holiday. Ended up selling for $16 on Poshmark, and after fees I made $10.78. Then I sold this new at tag pair of American Eagle flare jeans. These did take a while to sell, but they were new at tag and a great size, like a size 18, and a trendier style, I guess, boot cut. These did take a while to sell. I think I got these at the bins. They ended up selling for $27 on Poshmark, and after fees I made $21.60. Then I sold this Lululemon Restless Hoodie. This was definitely an older style, but I got these in those bulk rescue boxes again that I got from May or June, and I did list this kind of high. I probably shouldn't have listed it as high, seeing as Lululemon isn't selling the best right now, and this was an older style, but I love Lululemon and I definitely have a hard time, you know, letting it go for less. But it ended up selling for $40 on Poshmark, and after fees I made $29.98. And then I sold this Athleta seamless short sleeve shirt. I think I got this at the bins. Kind of a simple piece from Athleta, so something I'd only grab at the bins. Ended up selling for $14, and after fees I made $11.05 on Poshmark. And then my last sale on that day was this Adidas feather print dress, also that I got recently at the bins. I was hoping it might have been like a Farm Rio collab or something special, but I don't think it ended up being much, just like an older piece from them. Ended up selling for $15 on Poshmark, and after fees I made $12. Then Wednesday the 13th, I had 4 sales. I sold this new at tag cider corduroy pair of overalls. Cider is the brand. I only picked these up at the bins because they were new at tags and a great size. They were a 4X and they were cute, you know, corduroy overalls with floral like flowers embroidered on them. These did take a while to sell. Cider is a fast fashion brand that I would equate with Shein, so definitely cheaper, cheaply made, cheaper to buy, but again, I like to save it when I can from the bins. This ended up selling for $26, and after fees I made $18.78 on Poshmark. Then I sold this Eileen Fisher cashmere blend cardigan. I got this at a local Savers maybe like a month or so ago. I think I paid about like $8 for it. It was an older style, but it was a size large, cashmere blend, and it had these sequins sewn onto it. I ended up accepting an offer on eBay of $30, and after fees I made $23.12. And then I had another eBay sale, this Free People black kimono. I loved this piece. I actually got this at the bins probably a month ago. It's gotten a lot of attention specifically on eBay, but maybe I just had it listed a little too high. I ended up accepting an offer of $40 on eBay, and after fees I made $36.63. And the last thing I sold on Wednesday were these Jimmy Choo little booties. These were really cute. I actually got these in a DIY designer box from probably earlier this year. Unfortunately, they were missing one of like the little metal rivets. You wouldn't have really seen them because it was on the inside of the shoe, but it did have some other wear. I had these listed pretty high, at least over 100. But when someone offered me 65, I just thought, you know, why not? Like those designer boxes are super expensive. So each piece, if you sell all 7 pieces that you get, cost of goods is like $22, $25. So I don't really think that box is worth purchasing. Definitely for fun. Definitely you can get some amazing things, but I definitely just would not buy it constantly as a means of reselling. But these did take a while to sell. So again, when someone offered me 65, I accepted, and after fees, I made 52. Then Thursday the 14th, I had 6 sales. I sold this airy Lumberjane button-up. That's the name of the style, was Lumberjane. It was like one of their oversized white waffle button-ups. I got this at the bins. Luckily, there wasn't really any flaws. This is just kind of a very trendy style, and from Aerie, their bigger sizes and their oversized pieces do really well. This sold pretty much within 24 hours. I think I listed it and then maybe accepted an offer of $28 on Poshmark, and after fees I made $22.40. Then I sold a bundle of 2 skirts, an Abercrombie & Fitch wool blend skirt, which I got in Connecticut, so I probably spent about $5 or $6 on that. I just liked that it was plaid. I was hoping it might sell for Halloween if someone wanted to dress as Cher from Clueless, because it was like a yellow plaid. But I thought it would do well, you know, for the fall or even the winter, but it has taken a while to sell. And then the other piece was, I think it was new with tags, but it was a Forever 21 sequin skirt that I got in a bulk box. The bulk boxes that I keep mentioning from May or June. I think it's just a good skirt for like the new year. But someone bundled the 2 and I ended up selling it for $34, and after fees I made $27.20. Then I sold this J. Crew men's Thompson blazer. It was a wool blazer. It was J. Crew factory, but it was honestly in like new condition, and I found it at the bins, which I've not found like a J. Crew, especially men's blazer at the bins before, and I was just super excited. Again, it was in really great condition, a wool blend, and that I got the bins on the trip I did a week after the Johnny Was scarf, so it sold within a couple of days of me listing it. I did list it pretty high, even though it was J. Crew factory. I think it's still on sale on their website for like $300 and something. So I listed a little high. Someone offered me $80 very quickly, and I did decide to accept, and after fees I made $64. Then I sold this Free People olive green tunic long sleeve. This did have some pilling, so I listed it on the lower end, but this also sold very quickly within like a day or two. Ended up selling for $18, and after fees I made $12.38. Then I sold this New Tag, a New Day sweater vest. I believe I got this in those bulk boxes from THREDUP, but I might have also picked it up at the bins. Sweater vests, I think, had their moment. I don't think they're as trendy really anymore as much as they were like last year or earlier this year. But I'm glad it did sell. It ended up selling on Mercari for $15, and after fees I made $12.35. And the last thing I sold that day was also on Mercari. It was the Savannah Jane boho short sleeve blouse. I had never heard of Savannah Jane, but I got it at the bins, and it seemed like it could be a good brand based on the label. And I think it's kind of like a boutique brand, so comps were there, but they weren't great. It ended up again selling on Mercari for $17.10, and after fees I made $14.25. All right, just 2 more days to share with you guys. I'm almost done. On Friday the 15th, I had 4 sales. I sold this H&M black wash pair of denim shorts. Again, H&M isn't like the best brand for me. I think I got these in those bulk boxes or maybe during the summer at the bins, but I am glad they sold. I think I just thought that they were a really cute style, and they ended up selling for $9, and after fees I made $4.03. Then I sold this Lovers and Friends red cropped sweater. I really liked this sweater, but I got it in the summer, and at first I wasn't really getting any attention. I actually got this at that Ashbury. Hate Ashbury. Goodwill. And I want to say I spent like somewhere between $8 and $10 on it. But it didn't really get a lot of attention until recently. Of course, it's more of like a holiday winter sweater. But it finally sold on Poshmark for $50, and after fees I made $40. Then a bit of another spoiler, I sold this rare formed recycled pouch. This came in the fun box that I will be sharing with you guys for my 7 Days of Christmas videos. And at first, I didn't really know what it was, but then I kind of remembered that I had seen ads in the past for this brand that makes like bags and pouches and other things out of old billboard like ads that you see on the highway. And I looked it up and it was that. Comps actually weren't too bad. I actually listed this pouch for $20, which I feel like is kind of on the high end. But I do think since I got ads for it and I remembered the brand, other people have gotten ads and maybe wanted to purchase something from them. Ended up selling for $18 on Poshmark pretty quickly, and after fees I made $12.38. And then the last thing I sold on Friday was a merino wool base layer long sleeve from the brand Meriwool, Meriwool. I had not heard of this brand, but I found this piece at the bins. You guys might have seen it in my, I think, most recent bins haul video. I think during that video I saw like one hole, but when I went to photograph it, the back like was covered in holes. Not like a bunch, but like several. So I listed it on the lower end. Comps also, like, I was very surprised. They weren't very good for this brand, even though it was 100% merino wool and it felt very high quality. Like, it originally only sells for around like 80. I think it's on sale for like 60 maybe right now. And comps were only like around $30 for it. So I decided to list it even lower because of the flaws for $20, and it sold again very quickly. It actually sold on eBay for $15, and after fees I made $13.38. All right, and then the last day I will share with you guys, yesterday, Saturday the 16th, I had 4 sales. I sent off a lot of offers in my closet, like 20% off offers, trying to get some more sales. I think people have really like slowed down, especially because they don't think they'll get things in time for Christmas, or they're out, you know, shopping for last minute Christmas gifts and aren't spending money on themselves. But I did get 4 sales from it. I sold this Lane Bryant long sleeve tunic that I picked up at the bins. It was a size 22-24. I liked the print, but it was sheer, and I think sheer things are a little bit harder to sell. But it did sell for $14, and after fees I made $9.03. Then I sold this cashmere wool blend beanie that for the life of me I could not figure out the brand or the logo or anything. Like, I just could not figure it out. But I did get this at the bins, and it sold for $15, and after fees I made $9.98. Then I sold this Rails star print short sleeve. Rails is a brand I do like to sell, and I've had really good luck selling it in the past. Sometimes for a lot, sometimes not so much. But this was just one of their linen t-shirts. I've actually had this for 2 to 3 years maybe. I got this at the bins, I'm pretty sure in Portland, and I think it's been a while. But I finally sold on Poshmark for $17, and after fees I made $11.58. And the last thing I sold yesterday was this North Face men's Sherpa lined pullover. I actually found a decent amount of North Face when I just went to the bins this last week, and I've heard kind of conflicting things that North Face really doesn't do as well as it used to. But this was a wool blend piece. It was a men's medium, and it was Sherpa lined, and it was really nice. A lot of people had theirs listed at like 90 to over 100, but some solds weren't that high, so I decided to list mine I think around 75, and I kind of went back and forth with someone on eBay, and I finally sold for 60. I didn't write down how much I made after fees, but I imagine like somewhere in the $50 range. So yeah, those were my sales from these last 2 weeks. Not too bad. I am very, very, very pleased, especially with going into Christmas. And again, this week I'm not going to be focusing too much on reselling, just trying to get, you know, everything in order to then again be gone for a whole week after that for the holiday. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys are excited for my 7 days of Thriftmas. I hope you guys are having great times sourcing and selling, and yeah, I will see you guys all in my next video. Bye.